and we're about 170 million of that in place. And so we're getting a lot of support. We have partnered up with the private sector. FAA is certainly a critical partner and has provided over 200 million so far since year 2000. So things are kind of coming into place. All the pieces are coming together. There are challenges, as usual, but we're here to really facilitate the military growth, but at the end of the day, really to help the people of Guam economically through the growth of aviation.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Leon Guerrero, let's hear about goings-on at the port and what opportunities are going to be brought in for our local business community. What can we look forward to?
Well, thank you, Anita. Good morning. The Jose de Leon Guerrero Commercial Port is an agency of the government of Guam that's in the process of transforming itself into a world-class facility to meet the demands of the build-up as well as the 21st century. About a year and a half ago, our community and our federal partners were worried about the port being the only one government of Guam agency that would not be ready for the build-up. You often hear the words like choke point when people refer to our agency. Now, after working closely with our port users, with our federal counterparts, with the legislature, and ending support of and dedication of the governor and my port staff, I'm proud to say that the Port Authority of Guam is now being seen as a linchpin to our local government's preparation for the buildup. Despite limited financial resources, the port forged ahead with our aggressive efforts to modernize the facility, and through extraordinary efforts to the port employees and our shareholders and this administration, we have successfully passed from many milestones and launched our port modernization program, which calls for more than $200 million in upgrades to our facility. Once fully implemented, this modernization program will transform our port into a world-class facility that will meet the needs of the U.S. military, our local needs, and the region that we serve as well. We're especially grateful for the Office of Economic Affairs and their support in giving us capacity to come up with these studies. The first mission we set out to accomplish was to update our master plan, which was accomplished and signed into law earlier this year. We also focused on the need to strengthen our antiquated assets because we estimate that our cargo throughputs would be doubled and our break bulk would be tripled. As such, we spent more than $4 million from a grant from USDA to purchase new equipment for our operations, such as top loaders and yard tractors. Then in February of this year, we all watched with pride as the 3 refurbished Port of LA gantry cranes came to our shores, which will now ensure that the flow of goods into our islands remains uninterrupted. Meanwhile, we still have a huge challenge before us to find $100 million needed to pay for the first phase of our modernization. That's why we continue to aggressively seek federal funding to support the remainder of our modernization program, and are awaiting word from our applications for 49.7 ERA Tiger grant from the Department of Transportation and $50 million in USDA funding. Other key milestones in our efforts include our agreement with the Maritime Administration, which was designated as the federal lead agency for the Port of Guam Improvement Enterprise Program. We now work closely with the Maritime Administration and expect an announcement this month on the issuance of their program management team, which will be the company that actually does the heavy lifting and builds our port, spends the $200 million, if you will. We also have begun the process to secure, once we've built the port, once we have a modern port, we want to make sure that we run it in world-class fashion. So we've begun to secure a performance management contract, which we've learned from our utilities, the GPA and GWA counterparts, for management, operation, and maintenance of our cargo handling equipment. And we are engaged with Parsons Brinkerhoff as our owner agent, basically our technical consultants for the port modernization. Through our OEA, our owner agent, we are already begun environmental studies necessary to launch our construction projects next year once the federal funding is approved. And our program received a boost a few months ago with the announcement of the port as being granted as a U.S. strategic port, one of 16 in the nation. which recognizes our critical role in Guam and the Mariana Islands and strategic importance in national security. While so much has already been accomplished, there's so much yet to be done in order to bring our port to a level that we want to see, and we will continue to forge ahead. We have truly transformed the Port Authority of Guam from the agency that people were so unsure of to an agency that is now, the terms I use, is going on a bullet train within our local government. With faith as our anchor, a firm plan laid out before us, and a true commitment to our people and our region, we will finish strong, and our island's only commercial seaport will soon be a true world-class facility. This will be done through our partnerships which we have established with the governor, the legislature, our congresswoman, port users, and dedicated hard men and women at the Port Authority of Guam. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Now, Mr. Ken Lujan is a very long-term known face in the small business community, what with the amount of resources that have come flowing through. So, Ken, I know that you have something to share with us with regard to plans from the SBA standpoint. Please tell us what these are.
Well, thank you for having me as part of the panelists, and Hafide, and good morning to everyone. If you notice, everyone here pretty much are wearing a Hawaiian print island wear. You
didn't get the memo.
I didn't get the memo. I'm probably the only federal person here in this panel, so I guess don't shoot the federality. One of the things that we have done and that we have seen in the past, SBA basically is an advocate for small businesses nationwide, as well as here locally in Guam. Throughout the years, we've seen a change. It used to be in the past, several years ago, that we would look at 95% of the island being small. As a result of the BOSS contract, which is the Base Operation Support Services, which occurred, almost a decade ago, that has changed I guess the demographics of how small businesses are defined around here in Guam, because as we saw this BOSS contract take place, large businesses came into the island. And that's one of the largest contracts, or the BOSS activities nationwide. Now imagine what's going on with the buildup right now. It's 20 times that amount of what the BOSS contract was. So imagine what the number of large businesses are coming in here today. And as an advocate for small businesses, we are trying to prepare the small businesses here locally in Guam to either team up or be a part of, as Mike Adey had mentioned, to be a part of the economy. And how you do that is you utilize the resources that you have available to you through the SBA, through the PTAC, through the SBDC, through the government agencies here. And I noticed that there's a lot of partnering and partnerships that have been taking place and collaborations. This is something that we encourage our small businesses and you small businesses out there to either team with a lot of the large companies or establish a joint venture arrangement with them. Because you may not have the resources that are needed, necessary to undergo the large taskings that the military has imposed upon it. But at the same time, with the collaboration and partnership that are there, we can foresee that you are going to be part of it and not left out in the code. So with our agency, basically, we have the resources. As an advocate, we have financial resources that are available to you to get guarantee loans. The President is very aware of the concerns of the small business community because of the fact that he's looking for opportunities that small businesses can afford job opportunities to the people out there. And so with that in mind, programs are going to be changing in the near future regarding the small business opportunities. And we hope that those programs will disseminate down to Guam, and we can avail them to you as well. In the close relationship that we're having with the military, we can hopefully get more businesses involved in there. But the key point that Mike had made earlier is that you have to get your ducks in a row. You have to get your act together, because federal policies are in place right now. These federal policies are to an exact. In other words, you have to abide by it per point by point. You can't go there and say, well, PURI, we probably can't do this PURI, let's do it this way. The PURI system does not work within the federal government. You have to do it exactly the way you want. So with that in mind, we want to ensure that you do understand what the rules and the guidelines are, and we want to help you to that point by utilization of our programs out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ken. Now, Ken has been known as the small business advocate outside the fence. And Mr. Al Sampson is well known to a number of us who, even though his title is Small Business Advisor, I like to think that he is our small business advocate inside the fence, and I'd like him to just share